Hello, I'm Tuhan John Holloway with Albo Silat. And tonight we're going to do a little cutting demonstration with a knife that is made by Chad Los Banos. He designs this. It's made by Boker. But Chad Los Banos sent this particular one for me to test. And it's the Boker Direkt Bowie style blade, and it has forward serrations on it. Now there's a lot of different theories on serrations using it when it comes to self-defense cutting, and a lot of people will say that a serration is not the way to go, then it will hang up on certain clothing. Then other people will say, well, the smooth edge might skip off certain clothing. Personally, I've found no difference in actual cutting. With proper technique, they both work. But you know, there might be a difference in depth of cut or something like that, but nothing that's really going to matter that much in the real world. But I found this interesting in that Chad designed this with serrations in the front. Normally with a combination edge you'll see serrations down here for some kind of cutting rope or whatever. He has it up here, and the only other person that I'd ever heard talk about doing that was actually Tuhan Albo, who is the head of system of Albo Silat, who passed away from a car accident in Texas, leaving me in charge. But he was the only other person discussing this, and he thought it would be better to bite in because a lot of times you will just hit with the tip of the blade. In any case, we're going to use that tonight. And everybody's probably seen the cast by now, so I will tell you that if you train hard enough, often enough, you're going to get hurt. And I've had a few broken bones, and I just added another one to my collection. So I have a broken bone in my hand here, and from a garrote, a baston, a scream, a stick, rattan stick hitting me in the hand, and that happens. So you get the added benefit of working left-handed tonight, which is good because you need to train both hands because sometimes your hand can be injured, or you might have only this to use. Your tool might be in a position where you have to grab it in the left hand. So what we're going to do tonight is cutting. But what we have here, the first thing we have here is something that's very difficult to cut for the simple reason is it weighs almost nothing. This is just stuffed with enough newspaper, fluffed out newspaper, so that it gives it shape. This thing just moves. As soon as you hit it, it's going to move. It's going to be hard to cut through that. That's a harder thing to cut through than it would be if it was compacted. Now, if you get something that's compacted, like meat or bone or something like that, and you go through, you're going to have to hold the knife correctly. So you want that cut to be done with a grip that you can maintain and you're not going to lose a knife. On the other hand, cutting something like this demonstrates some speed and the mechanics of the cut, because it's hard to cut something that's so light. This is a blue jean pants leg. This is denim. Denim is considered fairly hard to cut. But like I said, this one's going to move so much and it'd be so light and it's free hanging that it's not going to be the easiest thing to cut in the world. I'm not going to do like you've seen a lot of cuts demonstration. A two-dimensional cut, and I'm not going to do that for a couple of reasons. One, it's not as good as this full 300 degree, 60 rotating in a plane, this full rotation throughout the cut, using all the joints, because you want to get the maximum edge contact you can. Secondly, I'm not going to do this, real fighty, powerful turning cut, because we're looking about combat. If I do that, I am asking to get hurt. Because if I miss, I'm screwed. So this is going to be a fairly light cut. One of the reasons why this is not going to be as deep as normal is I would normally go power, power. The thing is, I got to not hit this door jamb, so this is kind of difficult. And I'm doing it left-handed, so how cool is that? So, and there we have it. We have a cut, 3-inch rip, and then this one goes across. You see this? Now, stabbing is also valid. In and out. Okay, now, what we did was we switched out pants legs here. This one is stuffed full of newspaper, packed very solid. Now, it's going to be a harder thing to cut through as far as meeting resistance, but it's going to be an easier cut because it's heavier and it's not going to move as much. Now, these are both free hanging. Free hanging cuts are not easy, especially with a little sub 4-inch cutting edge. So, if I had a katana here, you can cut it right in half, no big deal. It's not a katana, it's not a bolo, it's not a barong, You know, I'm not going to be able to do it. This is a smaller knife. It will cut to the bone in meat. If you go against a person's leg, you'll go to the bone. But what we're going to do today here on this heavier one is we're going to see how deep we get the cut. All right, when we come through here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in with this lateral. I'm going to come up with a 3 and a 4, left-handed. And then after I get a couple of cuts that way, I'm going to do a series, just 3 or 4, you know, whatever I feel like, 1, 2, angle 1 and 2, 4, 5, whatever. Just fast. And we'll see how much we shred it up just by playing with it. But it's going to be moving around, so it's going to be a lot harder to cut than somebody who was actually, you know, a leg and a pant leg. It's going to be a lot harder. But anyway, let's see what we got with a 3-4 combo here. So we come in here, it's going to be lateral here, right? And we come through there. Got to cut through in there, and through. Let's see what we got. Got some newsprint stuck on the knife, and we went through a couple layers of newsprint, and this one went through quite a bit of the newspaper. So and that one's way in. So you can see where it first cut in with that serration and then ripped through. It went in about that far, you know, over 1 inch through packed paper, which is pretty good. While this is packed, I mean, we basically stood on this to get it in here. So that's not bad. You start out with a laptique, and then we'll go through a couple of series, see what happens. So we're here, and it's and you notice it's pretty well carved up. And you see that cut here, through here. Now, if we just come through here with a complete laptique power stroke, you'll notice that this is skipping off. It's what they say, if you do enough, a correct technique. There you go. Angle 2, angle 1. Uppercut, or angles 5. And you see paper fly. So you'll see this is a valid demonstration of this particular knife. It did a pretty good job. The other thing to think about on this is the fact that with a small blade, once I get that cut or a stab, I can then use my body weight. If I'm this tight, if I'm really in close, I'm going to use my body weight. So if I'm in here like this, and I've done, let's say I'm here, and I'm here. So I come in and I go. All right, now there's a good cut. Now when I come in here, I'm tight, I'm in close. So what I do is I put the edge right here, boom, I hit it. And I do a push-pull motion. That's what I do on a human body. A lot of times when I'm pushing at the angle where his body is weak, 45-degree angle, he's falling this way, this comes across here, and I just push-pull, and you get that kind of stuff. So that can make it very powerful as well.